Aloha, happy Friday. Don't mind the bedhead. I'm still kind of in my morning mode here. It's been an interesting week. Interesting vibes going on. This morning I was like doing my morning routine, my morning thing, and I was like, I feel like I need to go live. I don't even know why. I don't know if we're gonna I don't know if we're just gonna end up talking and hanging out or if we're gonna end up pulling cards. I did get a bunch of my decks out. I'm still getting my back room organized, so I'm not recording back there yet. Um, so I pulled a bunch of them from back there. Hello. What up though? Hey. Hola, hey, good morning, guys. Or some of you guys it's afternoon, and I'm sure some of you guys in other places in the world it's like evening already. Excuse me. Um, Actually, you know what? Okay, I will say this. So there's a couple things I do kind of want to mention. Now that I'm sitting here in front of you guys, I'm like, maybe there are some things I do want to talk about. Your weekly for the fire signs really helped me. Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad. That's why I'm here. Where's Clyde? Clyde's not feeling so good. He's under the bed right now. I'm trying to get him in to see the vet sometime in the next couple days. I can tell something's off. I don't know what's off, but something's off. So I'm a little concerned. I'm a little worried. He's been hiding under the bed for a bit. And like him being under the bed is not an abnormal thing, but his energy is like not where it normally is. And it's like I've been trying to like love on him and stuff, and I can tell he's not feeling good. And he's been biting more, which he doesn't bite. He doesn't do that. Is he eating? Yeah, he's eating. Like he's eating fine, he's using the bathroom fine. All of that's fine. It's just something's just off, you know? Um, so I, like I said, trying to get him in to see the vet, and I just, need them to call me back. Yeah. So send good vibes to Clydester. He's literally like right behind me, just under the bed, and he's just like, yeah, I don't know, something's going on. Hi Island Turtle, Aqua here. When will you do our solo return read? I usually do the birthday readings at the end of the season, at the end of the zodiac season. Excuse me. If he's eating and using the bathroom, then hopefully there's nothing physically wrong. Hopefully not. I mean, he's getting up there. He's not like a spring chicken, you know? I adopted him when he was already like, in his adult, not mature, like not like older years, but like he was already an adult when I adopted him. And I adopted him 7 years ago. God, I can't believe it's actually his birthday's coming up next month. He's a Pisces. Um, yeah. Well, yeah. I've had him for 7 years. It's been an interesting journey with the Clydester. Just watched your Capricorn video and something in me unlocked. Oh, you just reminded me. I should have put a little activate. Oh, hi Sam. Hi Sam. I should have put a little activation warning on the part 2 for Capricorn. So if anybody's planning on watching the part 2 for Capricorn, heads up, there might be a little bit of an activation going on in there towards the end. Yeah, that part 2 is crazy. My cats will be 10 this year. Oh. I know our fur babies, right? It's like our fur babies mean so much to us. And he's like, I mean, he's not just my fur baby. It's like, I know he was sent to me. Like, he was sent to me during a really dark time. And it was like, oh, yeah, you're supposed to be in my life. Like, you've been waiting for me. I can just tell. And we do really, I mean, everyone feels they have a special relationship with their fur babies. But yeah, he's a magic kitty. He's totally a little magic kitty. And, they can't stick around forever, right? But I don't know. When he gets like this, I get really sad and really worried. I'm literally at the vet now. How late am I? 4 minutes. I've only been on for 4 minutes. One has beginning kidney disease, and same cats find the humans they need. Yeah, see the kidney disease. Something intuitively is telling me it's that. Last time he was at the vet, when was that? I don't think it was in summer. Maybe like beginning of fall, end of summer. And because of his age, they wanted to like look at that. And they said, because of his age and everything, like he's like at higher risk for something like that. And they said there's potentially early signs of it, but just to keep an eye. And I haven't seen any like symptoms other than just the fact that I can tell something's wrong with him. I can tell he's not in his normal, jam. But yeah, intuitively, like that's kind of what's nagging at me, and I'm like, no, you can't get old. You're not allowed to get old. He's your soul sidekick. Oh, absolutely. Like 100%. 100%. If he had a kidney issue, he may have issues peeing. My cat had kidney stones and he had blood in his urine. Oh my god, that's awful. Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on that because, like, intuitively that's what I feel like it is, but that seems normal. But even if it seems normal, it doesn't mean there's not something going on, right? That's the thing too. Like, for anybody who's like never owned a cat, if you ever do own a cat, um, it's always hard, not always hard, but it's usually hard to tell when something's wrong with them. It usually has to be like really bad for them to be like really grabbing your attention that something's wrong. Like signs are like the whole not eating or not using the restroom normally, hiding under the bed excessively is a huge indication. Like cats are not as, how do I want to say it? If cats are like not feeling well, like they're not very like, it's, they don't have huge like red flags about them like to indicate that. Thank you. Cats are able to hide illness well. Yeah, I'm not using the right words. For conveying this message properly. Cats will hide despair us. Yeah, cats are so proud it's hard to tell when something's wrong. Yeah, and I can just feel it. I can just feel like something's wrong. Um yeah, he won't even like let me like be near him for too long before he gets like not okay or starts to bite or like goes and hides, and I'm just like, what is going on? um oh, that just made me sad. um But send good vibes, send love, send healing vibes. He will greatly appreciate it. A wild live appear. Yes, yes it did. Um, yeah, I go live when it feels right or when I'm prompted to, and I was pretty much prompted to go live. Pisces season coming up for him. Yeah, not good. Vets need to check blood ASAP. Aloha, hi, hello. Um, but yeah, just send good vibes, guys. Just send the good vibes. He feels it. He's sensitive. Um, but yeah, like I said, I just felt prompted to get on here, but Clyde stole the show. I was like, there were things I was gonna mention. Um, oh, okay, so I will mention this, a couple things. So I am gonna be going live today on Patreon for the Full Moon Leo live. I'll be live at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern to do the Full Moon Leo talk and hangout. WaterBaby, do you feel like we're in a limbo currently? Yeah, I mean, I've been talking about that for a bit. It's like, and I was kind of like getting you guys prepared. Like January, February, March was going to be a little bit of a transitionary limbo kind of time, before we hit the ground running with some serious fire energy in spring. Almost feeling like the new year is really like March, April, especially with all these like post shadows that we're closing out. Actually, the post shadow for Mercury is going to end in a few days. Yay! the, this Mercury retrograde, and I know it's just because of where I'm at in life, but also like with my natal chart, like I knew this Mercury retrograde and Mars retrograde was going to be really important for me, and it has been. This Mercury post shadow has been way more emotional for me than I ever expected. Like, holy crap. Goodbye, Mercury retrograde. Well, and it happens many times a year, right? But like the fact this one was in Capricorn, and we've been closing out these lessons of Capricorn and like rebirthing this Capricorn 2.0 remastered, evolved sort of energy, right? At the same time, we're like doing the whole Mars retrograde Gemini lessons, right? And it's like, and we're also, how do I want to, something that, why are they bringing up Aries? Well, I mean, Jupiter is in Aries, Chiron's in Aries. There, this is just something they're telling me. Aries ties into all of that, is like what they're telling me. But we have the North Node switch coming up soon. We have eclipse. Actually, next eclipse season is like not too far away. Actually, Saturn's also moving into Pisces. It's like, yeah, we're in an interesting time. But yeah, with these like last retrogrades, that also started right after the last two eclipses we had in October. Super important, very impactful. Anyway, I keep getting away from the things I want to talk about, or the things I keep wanting to mention. I'm a little today, whatever that is, whatever that is. So like I said, I'll be live for the full moon in Leo later today, at the times that I indicated. The other thing that I want to mention, and I don't even know if it's worth, actually, I don't even know if it's worth mentioning, but I'm just gonna go ahead and be a little Sag and just mention it. If you guys are signing up on Patreon, like, please read the descriptions of the tiers before you sign up. Um, I feel like it's very clear, and like maybe it's not. Maybe there's something about the way I've worded it that is not clear. And if and if that's a thing, like please let me know. By all means, please let me know. I just don't want you guys to sign up for something not understanding what you guys are getting. So just to be clear, the first tier, the $6 tier, you get access to any random live chats I do on Patreon, the new moon lives, and the full moon lives. The next tier is $15, and that one you get everything from the first tier. So all like the hangouts, the lives, the new moon, full moon stuff. And then you also get early access to the weeklies. So you guys get that was what I needed to do today. Ding. That was a huge reminder. Hold on. Let me just write that down. I've also been spending a lot of time with my guides, a lot of time with spirit. Hold on. Okay. I've been spending a lot of time with my guides, a lot of time with spirit. So they've been like making me stop a lot and making me like just kind of really be in the ether. Yeah, they've been making me do that a lot. And so I've been also kind of like detached from my physical reality, and then I have to integrate back in, and then I come out and I got to integrate back in. Anyway, so the second tier is early access to the YouTube weeklies. So I basically post them early, like over the weekend. It's sometime between Thursday and Saturday, depending on how, the crazy that's going on in my life. And then I post on YouTube on Monday. Okay, and then you get everything from the first tier. The last tier, which is $24, you get all of the part twos for all the sign readings that I do on YouTube, and you get early access to the weeklies, and you get access to the full moon and new moon lives at any live hangouts that I do over on Patreon. So those are the tiers. And like I said, if I've worded them in a weird way on Patreon, like feel free to message me, feel free to let me know, feel free to let me know what part was confusing or not. I would also appreciate understanding that like I am like a human being, and I totally understand that like we go through times where we're struggling, we go through times where we feel like we're lost or we're kind of on shaky ground, but do understand that everything that I do here on YouTube and Patreon and all these things, they're things that I am guided to do. I like to use my gifts in this way because I do feel like I help people and it is fulfilling for me, but I also take time outside of that to do work for the grids and Gaia, and I also have to take care of myself too. And I don't have a team, it's just me answering messages and posting videos and all this stuff, right? Managing everything. So understand that like I'm not running this like a customer service like organization. It's just me. It's just me doing my thing to the best of my ability. And so if I don't answer you right away, like please, don't take that personal. Don't take that personal. And also I would appreciate it if there, if you start to feel entitled to me in some way, shape, or form, if you feel entitled to have me answer, questions or give you a free reading or whatever, like that's not how I roll. Sorry. That's not like, no, I'm not a performance monkey. I'm not, you're not entitled to access to me in that way at all. Okay. Just making that really clear. And if that's your jam, then please do not sign up on Patreon. I'd appreciate if you just didn't take up space in that way. If that's your intention, that's not the place for that. Like Patreon, I like to have it as like a safe space, like for people to just come and hang out. And we do chat. It's like when we're hanging out in the full moon and new moon lives, like we're talking about our stuff, like we know each other. It's like it's a soul fam vibe. It's like it's not a place to try to get in and get what you want for yourself and take advantage. Like I'm not doing that. I don't play that game. Okay, not about that. Anyway, just felt the need to mention that because that was coming up a lot, and it was like, oh, we need to set some ground rules. Let me make something clear here. So yeah, anyway, just that. We're all human, just doing our thing, myself included. Okay. Anyway, I do got love for everybody. I do. Just don't come at me with that stuff. No patience for that. I love to assist with your behind the scenes work. I'll mention it again during the live tonight. You deserve the help. Oh, thank you, Samantha. Yeah, I do. I would like to have an assistant. I would. I feel like an assistant would really help me a lot. I just don't have how do I want to say this? Currently, I lack the resources, I guess, for an assistant. I guess is the best way to say that. Yeah, currently I lack the resources for an assistant. Um, uh, Protected. It's not rude. People have unrealistic standards are the issue. Oh, yeah, and see, if you feel triggered by that, like, I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. Uh, it's okay, guys. Don't come after her. Really, guys, don't come after her. She's just voicing how she feels. Um, hey, that's how it is for me. That's the kind of space I want Patreon to be. Um, like I said, not a performance monkey. I'm just here doing my thing. Anyway, so just getting away from that sort of energy. Didn't you mention Saturn and Pisces is a vital time to check your health? Yes, could be the same for Clyde, especially him being a Pisces. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Saturn and Pisces. I mean, because first of all, Pisces rules health and illness and hospitalization and disease and things like that. So anytime Saturn moves into a sign, we tend to learn some valuable lessons in that sign. We also can feel restricted or challenged or feel like it's harder to focus on the energy of that sign and like have ease and grace in the energy of that sign. So yeah, Saturn and Pisces can bring up health for some people, but especially like if that's part of your chart, like you had mentioned about Clyde. Uh, let's see. It's good that you said that helps keep the right people around. Yeah, I just, it's like, guys, like we're in a place, it's like, I don't want to get soapboxy. Um, so many things want to come out of my mouth. I'm just like, what actually needs to be spoken on here? Like, what actually needs to be shared here? People who are light workers, we do a lot. All right, we do a lot for the collective. We do a lot, and I love that I do it. Like I wouldn't have chosen this as part of my path if it wasn't fulfilling, if it didn't feel right in some way. And I know the demands that it requires. I know the discipline it requires. Like, and I get it, right? It's not like not everybody can do that kind of work because it does require that. Um, and I wouldn't make any other choice. But I think something that light workers have been faced with, especially in the last few years, is that kind of like entitlement from people, whether it's entitlement or people who are just really codependent, or people just have like high expectations of somebody who has light or somebody who can do this, that, or the other, and it's like I want, or it's mine, and it's like no boundaries are a healthy thing. It's like it's okay to say. I feel like this came up in the Scorpio reading. Like it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no, um, and to really like how do I want to say make it clear where accountability needs to be as well, right? It's like, yeah, I am here to be of service. I am here to guide. I am here to offer love and support in ways that feel right, right? In ways that feel like they're in alignment with myself, even. Um, but it doesn't mean that it gives anyone the right to take advantage of that, right? And that goes for anybody, not just light workers. I mean, that goes for anybody out there who wants to help people, or who is a giver, or who just wants to be of service in some way. It's like it doesn't mean that you just let anybody like partake in that with you. Right? It's like there's discernment that needs to happen there. And then people also, typically there's been so many programs that we have been working out and reprogramming around codependency and around people who take advantage of stuff like that. And it's like, no, everybody needs to be fucking accountable. Sorry, I'm just gonna say it. Everybody needs to be accountable for themselves and accountable for their behavior, accountable for boundaries that they are setting, not setting, or crossing when it comes to other people. It's just, it is what it is. It is what it is, right? Pluto and Aquarius coming through. Yeah, that's totally Pluto and Aquarius energy, right? Um, so weird. I feel like that applies to some sexual stuff I've been thinking through. Oh, interesting. Being given can turn into victimhood without discernment. Right, right. I'm sweeping 11 when the Scorpio comes out. It's so funny because it's like there are a couple people who I'm friends with, and they say not they don't say it quite like that, but they say it like very similarly, where it's like I like when you get assertive, and it's like it's not that I'm not assertive. I'm like I am a sweet person by nature. It is just who I am by nature. But so is my assertiveness. But yeah, hold on, dropping stuff. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's part of me too, I guess. I've been highly stressed since my elderly mom moved in. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, that can be hard. That can be really hard. I feel like a lot of people are facing some big stressors right now. Like we're in this void space. At least I know people just in my life are, generally speaking. Excuse me. My mom literally told me to chill on being so blunt, and I'm a Scorpio. Yeah, I'm honestly really done like holding my tongue. Like I'm yeah, I'm just done with that. I don't have patience anymore. Um but that's also the time we're in. you know, that's also the energy that we're all in collectively, is just getting to this place of like, call a spade a spade. Here's my truth. You don't have to agree with it. I respect if you don't agree with it, but here's my truth, and here's what I'm not going to tolerate. Just matter of fact. Um, Accountability is a huge thing. The older you get, the less you give a fuck. Yeah, I think that's very true. I imagine the older I get, like the more that's just gonna be part of my personality, part of my character, if you will. It's funny because one of the decks I pulled out in case we pulled cards today was my shadow deck. And I was like, why does that want to come out to play? That's interesting. And the full moon, and again, I'm going to talk about that later on Patreon on the live, but this full moon is tightly square Uranus and Taurus. That Leo to Taurus energy, and then we have Aqua energy because we're in Aqua season. It's a lot of fixed energy. It's a lot of fixed energy. And having a square with the full moon and Uranus, like that is very that's very much like, I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna do what's true to me. I'm gonna say if I don't want to do something. I'm gonna say if I don't like something. I'm gonna say if something's too restrictive. It's like that is a very ballsy energy to come with full moon square Uranus, especially with Leo Taurus, and like independence is huge too with that. Not being suppressed is a huge thing with that too. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's also just like why I pulled this deck out, and also why we're talking about what we're talking about. I kind of want to pull cards now. Do you think a 12th house moon in Taurus would make someone intuitive? Yeah. I think having moon in the 12th house, regardless of whatever sign it's in, brings a sense of intuition and psychic ability. The fact that it's in Taurus, though, means that your moon is exalted. Excuse me. Which is a great position for the moon, especially for the moon to be in a watery house, even if it is in an earth sign. Having moon in an earth sign, in my opinion, don't have to take it as fact, is just, and that's the other thing too, guys, when you work with astrologers, like, yes, there are standard explicit ways of looking at astrology, but there's also a big chunk of it that's also subjective and up for interpretation. So the way that I look at moon placements, I think moon in an earth sign is always is a really good expression of it, because it's grounding the emotions. But moon is exalted in Taurus, so having that in the 12th house, I think, is a good thing. Sort of forces you to learn to be intuitive. But yeah, I think I want to pull some cards. What do you guys think? You guys down? And I've definitely been a little feisty too the last couple of days. I'm just well, all the things I said. I don't need to repeat myself. Hold on, come back up here. Do you are planning to provide a course about astrology or how to read your chart? I am planning on doing that. It is in the works. Yes, please. Yeah, let's do it. So I love this deck. The only thing is that it's like freaking huge. So it's kind of hard to shuffle. but I do love this deck. So let's see what wants to come out here. Hold on, let me get a handle on it. All right, there we go. Yeah, I think this is why we had to go live today. I think, like, you know, I'm getting like a Seven of Wands vibe. Like speaking up and standing up for the self. And yeah, setting boundaries is part of that. Doesn't have to be in a fighting way. Could lead to fights, but doesn't have to be. Have you ever been to Honolulu? Yeah, I have. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I've been to Honolulu. Yeah, I haven't been to Kauai. Well, last time I was in Kauai. God, it's been years. Last time I was there, I was getting my tattoo. Was that the last time? That would put that at like 8 years or something like that. It's been a very, very long time since I've been to Kauai, but Kauai is beautiful. Thanks for answering my 12th house moon question. I think I'm intuitive, but I always doubt it. No, it's okay. I don't mind. Like in a chat setting like this, like, yeah, it's like, you know, it's very like, I think that's a very like, okay thing to ask. I get it. I love it there. It's special. I live in Australia. Yeah, Kauai is really special. Kauai is really special. I was talking to a friend a couple days ago, actually, about Hawaii and like, how special it is and how I really wish that there were so many things about Hawaii, like relating to the infrastructure and politics and government, military, et cetera, that I wish could just change overnight. How it's like, I feel like I can see easy solutions to certain things, and it's like all this red tape around nonsense, you know, that's just kind of taking away from the magic of Hawaii, and it makes me sad. Makes me angry. Have you been to Lanai? No, I haven't. It's on my bucket list. Definitely on my bucket list to make it out there. Happy Friday. Let's see. Wild energy. I don't want to speak too much. Once the dam breaks, everyone knows exactly what I think. Some things need to be said more delicately in my usual way. Sure. Like, I think tact goes a long way. I think it depends on the situation. I think it definitely depends on the situation. January, Maui was magical. Oh, glad you got to go. Yeah, Maui's pretty magical. They're all magical. They all got their own little magic. They're all the islands are so different, you know? Any messages or insights? The message wants to come out here. Yeah, I just keep seeing Seven of Wands. Did a trip to Lanai. Very curious about your experience. The energy was wild. I could imagine, because Lanai and like Molokai, right? It's like they don't get a whole lot of people. So it's like, I imagine it's a lot more untouched, like energetically speaking. Let's see here. Ooh. So in this deck, it is a tarot deck, but they have bonus cards, and this is a bonus card. We have the Sacred Fire. I know these cards are so cool. And like, if you guys want this deck, I do have it listed below. If you guys just want to check it out for yourselves, if you're curious about it. But yeah, Sacred Fire. Almost want to say Sacred Rage. That's honestly what it reminds me of. Sacred Rage. And the antlers too at the bottom. Like, antlers have been coming up a lot for the collective. Elk has been coming up a lot for the collective. When I think of that how do I want to say? When I think of antlers, when I think of elk, I think of integrity, which is why I want to say it's like Sacred Rage. It's like, because that's exactly what I'm feeling. It's integrity. It's integrity. It's integrity. Well, that's too many. Less cards, please. I might even read Sacred Fire. Wow, we're getting all the bonus cards. Oh, hidden inner strength, the Shadow Cat. The Shadow Cat. how how well integrated is your shadow with your light side? How well integrated are the two? Because our shadow is like, you know, and it's been a long time since I've done a video on the shadow. um Shadow is not bad, right? Does it house things that are buried in our subconscious? Yes. Are some of those things trauma and wounds? Yes. But are some of those things just parts of ourselves we've yet to discover? Yes. And also in the shadow are those parts of ourselves that we can use to take action to change things that are unjust or change things that are unhealthy? Yes. That also comes from the shadow. So how well integrated are we with our shadow? I love this image. It's like this little like wide-eyed kitty cat and this like beastly thing that's like you know, under the surface. But being very well integrated here with your shadow, being acquainted with your shadow, and again in a way that where you're engaging with your shadow with integrity, right? Right? Um, yeah, yeah. Engaging with your shadow with integrity. Yeah. And acting. Wait, what is this? Yeah. Are you taking action from that place? Do you use your shadow in a way where you can use it with integrity when you need to use it? Like setting boundaries. Right? Right? And again, when you're integrating the shadow, are there things there that are related to wounds? Yeah, but that's not all that's there. So for any of you who haven't done too much like integration with your shadow or getting acquainted with your shadow, understanding that part of you, yeah, you might run into those things where you got to like purge some things and heal and reflect and blah 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 blah. But also it's running into your own sense of power, right? Running into your own sense of power and how you can assert yourself. I'm feeling Chiron Aries vibes with this. Which actually, yeah, I do think Chiron, yes, I think Chiron does play a role in the full moon Leo. I got to go over the aspects again, but last time I went over it, I'm almost positive Chiron and Aries created a lot of aspects under this full moon. Um, and even for the week, I know that that's the case. My neighbor. But yeah, asserting yourself with integrity, even if you have to use your shadow. But also having the discernment too to recognize it's like, even if you're utilizing your shadow, the things you want to take action on, right? The things you want to say, the things you want to do you want to do these things from fear or do you want to do these things from love? For example, like me going off about like Hawaii and you know how I don't really appreciate the military presence. I don't appreciate that there are things about the infrastructure of Hawaii that don't really take care of the people in the way that it should, right? It's like, that's because I care. That's because to me it should, like, people should matter, right? People should be taken care of. It's like, we shouldn't have this like compromised system. It's just not, it doesn't have integrity, right? It's just, it's not right. It's just not right. It's an injustice. Would I love to do something about that? Yeah. And that would be acting from love, but maybe I'd have to use my shadow side for that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's like, are your actions from love or fear? And if you're using your shadow, are you using it with integrity? Oh, that's a lot of cards. Am I taking all of these? No. Okay. Just the top one. Okay. Ooh. That's an image. That is an image. 5 of Swords. Look at those two scorpions like facing off like that. Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my. If any of you are like feel triggered, if any of you get in this position of feeling triggered, even if it is like this whole sacred rage situation, nothing wrong with taking a hot minute, right? Nothing wrong with taking a hot minute. 5 of Swords speaks of ego and it speaks of conflict, but even if you are in a 5 of Swords situation, you don't have to come from the same place as other people, right? It's like, you don't have to work from fear. You don't have to work from ego. Work, sorry about that, guys. Work from your shadow with integrity, from the intention of love. right? From the intention of what is right beyond yourself, right? What is right even beyond yourself. That's just how it's coming through. That's how it's coming through. It's interesting too. It's like, because they keep harping on this whole thing of fear, love, fear, love, fear, love, fear, love. Fear can be crippling. It can be. It can be paralyzing. Paralyzing. Fear can be paralyzing. But love as a frequency, right? When I say love, I'm speaking to many things when I speak of love. I speak of the frequency of love. I'm speaking of divinity. I'm speaking of your soul, right? I'm speaking of spirit. I'm speaking of God. It's like I'm speaking of limitlessness. I'm speaking of all these things, but that's what love is. It's limitless, right? But fear is paralyzing. Even if fear seems big and grand, like when we like really scared about something, it's like it can feel like we're stuck. It can feel like we're trapped. But if you know how to shift back into this energy and frequency of love and limitlessness and everything like that, it's always going to be bigger than fear. Always. It's always going to be stronger, not bigger, stronger. It's always going to be stronger than fear. But even if other people are, this is interesting. I almost feel like some of you guys might be encountering circumstances where people are trying to trigger your fear. Some of you guys, that's definitely the case. Some of you guys, that's definitely the case. God, so many things are coming through here. And when you do get the energy of fear, it makes things bigger than they actually are. That's actually what I'm getting with the illustration here. And who knows, maybe that wasn't their intention of the illustration, but it's like, that's what I'm getting intuitively. It's like, when you get into the frequency of fear, little monsters, the thing you're afraid of becomes this giant, like insurmountable thing that you can't possibly overcome or accomplish, but you can. You can if you shift into love, if you shift into that limitlessness, right? And if people come at you trying to trigger your fear, or maybe they're not trying to, maybe they just trigger that. Maybe they're just triggering that for whatever reason or another, but it feels, I just got to be honest with what I feel, right? It's like it does feel like there's like ill intent there with some of the circumstances you guys may be encountering presently, recently, upcoming. But you're bigger than that. You're a limitless soul. You're a limitless soul with a really badass shadow side, okay? And you've got your sacred rage, okay? And you have your integrity, and you're grounded in your integrity. You could overcome any ginormous scorpion that comes your way with remembering that, right? And for some of you, this is much more about venturing into the practice of shadow integration, of getting to know that part of you. And again, as you do, like, you're going to run into things like this. You're going to run into fear. You're going to run into things you're afraid of, because those are things that do lurk in the shadow amongst other powerful things that are not necessarily bad. So if this is something that you're going through for like the first time, or maybe it's just another round of it, and you know, we're all human. We all run into struggles here and there with stuff like that. Just remember that. Just face your fears. Face them, unmask them. Once you unmask the fear, right? Once you understand why you're afraid of something, or why someone's triggering you, and you move through the emotions of that, it's gone. Because you've unmasked the illusion, right? False evidence appearing real. Like, you've unmasked the illusion of it. And then it's like some giant scorpion becomes like a little teeny tiny mouse or something. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm definitely getting that for some of you. Let's keep going. Some of it is about speaking up. Getting like strong throat chakra energy. Throat solar. Throat solar. Throat solar. It's funny because this energy I'm feeling almost was very Aquarian with how I wanted to describe it. Almost like embracing Aquarius. Where Aquarius is not like afraid to ruffle people's feathers. Aquarius is not afraid to make people go, like, to make people like go question mark. I don't understand. Like, you know, kind of like that sacred cloud energy, right? Some of you guys, there's a little bit of a insecurity or anxiety maybe with like having people react to you like that. But some of you guys might be learning that if you do come from this like much deeper integrated place within yourself, and again, that sense of integrity, love, all those things, right? Unmasking your own fears. You start to realize the more that you do that, like very quickly, authentic people will stay in your life or find you. You know what I mean? It's like you're unmasking the fear of people's reactions. For some of you, maybe even fear of judgment or criticism, fear of rejection, abandonment. That could be the case for some of you. It's interesting. Yeah, because I just keep getting people going like, question mark? On the bottom, ooh, what a card. What a card. We have the Ten of Swords in reverse. Wow. With the High Priestess in reverse. Remember what I was saying before? It's like, just say no. No. And then we have the Fool. Oh, that, talk about limitlessness, right? It's like, that's what the Fool really is. It's the 0 point, but it's fresh, it's new, it's no baggage, it's light, it's freedom. It's a liberated energy. It's, I'm gonna go because my intuition told me to, and I'm just gonna jump into the unknown and be okay with it. I'll jump off the cliff, God will catch me. Like, you know, it's that kind of fearlessness. Ooh. Yeah. I like this. I like this. It's saying no to anything that evokes this. Evokes this in your life, in your relationships, and you're just saying no to it. It's like, I'm gonna live in wild abandon now. That's what I'm gonna go do now. That's what I'm gonna go do. But I feel like to face this energy, unmasking your own fears or dealing with circumstances or people in that Five of Swords energy, you gotta come from this place. You gotta come from that very well integrated parts, like the very well integrated part of yourself, specifically with the shadow, and come from this sacred rage with integrity and from the energy of love, not fear. Again, unmasking your fears in the process. Now, the other cards that came before that, the Ten of Swords in reverse and the High Priestess in reverse. There's a lot going on in these two cards. Also, I'm going to hold them upright just so you guys can see the images, because I just think they're so striking. Just so you can like really get a really cool sense of that. Anyway. I don't know, I'm getting this running vibe. I'm getting a running. I feel like for some of you, these relationships or circumstances are ones you've been running away from. Maybe trying to evade. And again, it could also be trying to run away from your fear when really you just need to unmask it, right? Just really unmask it. And you get the solution that you feel like has been evading you. Interesting. It's almost like the answer comes forward on what you need to do, and you just need to say no. You just need to say no. You just need to say no and become the Fool. That's what you realize is needed. That's what you realize the action is needed. But you know, with the Ten of Swords in reverse, that's what it feels like to me, like avoiding an ending of some kind, or trying to avoid pain, or trying to avoid discomfort. It's an avoidance that I keep getting with the Ten of Swords in reverse, but it's around ending specifically, or you're just trying to avoid a serious amount of pain and discomfort as it relates to the Five of Swords. But if you dig into this place, if you dig into that, you'll realize with the High Priestess in reverse, just say no. Just say no more. And live with wild abandon. I'm going to read the Sacred Fire to you guys, because the card is just amazing. And it keeps jumping out at me so much. Hold on. Where is it? Oh, no wonder. The Rebirthing Bonfire. Have you ever stood before a beautiful campfire and felt the pulsating heat of the flames? Seen the colors dancing, forming different shapes, and streaming up into the air underneath a blanket of stars in the night sky? With embers popping and shooting upwards, the sound of the flames crackling and hissing as they consume and devour. Fire is the spiritual representation of soul and spiritual energy, inspiration, passion, sexual attraction, and the light within. Fire is both creative and destructive in nature and allure. Fire as an element does not exist in a natural state. It can only take form by consuming another element. It is a transformative energy that can break down one form into another. This is sometimes an uncomfortable, destructive force that should not be as negative. In many cases, forest fires actually help clear away old trees to now allow new life, to allow new life to burst forth and flourish, life that otherwise would not have been able to, therefore extending the life of the forest. Fire is often a misunderstood element, and this card is evoking your flame to ignite right now. Fire can either heat up your house or burn it down. The element of fire is here to boost passion, increase motivation, and your creativity and sensuality. Right now, you are consuming your own darkness. Rise up from the pain of past, be purified and soar. Much like the representation of the death card, allow old parts of you to burn away so you can have your own beautiful rebirth. Rise up and be mighty like the beautiful phoenix. I drew this card's inspiration based on a bonfire clearing that I did at my house one night. When I took things that no longer served me and threw them into the flames, the moose and the deer antlers in the flames are symbolic of shedding of old paradigms and the rebirth of new ones under many night skies to come. Perhaps it's time you had to clear out of your house to make space for new things that will ignite your soul. And like I said, this whole reading that I've done so far, it's about getting rid of that. Getting rid of anything that evokes this within you and without. Your own fear or the shit that people bring to you and they try to drag you into their stuff, right? It's about getting away from the Five of Swords and facing the things that you need to say no to, that you have been avoiding saying no to, so you can become this. Living free with wild abandon. Very Aquarian, like I said. Very Aquarian. Oh, that was a read, wasn't it? My vibe is whatever I need, not like what they think, right? Even after just having surgery, I've been purging through my whole house, one drawer at a time. Yeah, purging and clearing, man, it does wonders for energy. You know, it's like if you feel just like your energy's been stagnant or kind of like meh even, just like reorganizing your house, just doing a quick vacuum, a quick like, oh, I haven't used that in 6 months, I haven't used that in 5 months or whatever, just getting rid of it, like, oh, it clears so much. And it's funny because anytime I probably purge my place like every 3 or 4 months or so. And every time I do it, it's a process. I do have to do it slow because if I do a room, it's like there's so much energy that comes out of me that's just like, bleh. And it's like, oh boy, let me sit with that for a minute and let that finish doing that. And then I'll go to the next room and the next room and the next room. So it takes me about a week probably to do that. Plus I also have like, you know, YouTube and Patreon and like other stuff in my life, and also try to make time for myself and my own playtime and enjoyment and relaxation and all the things. But yeah, it's amazing. It's also amazing too, like how much energy stuff holds. You know what I mean? It's like, it's amazing to me how much energy material items can freaking hold. And I think this is also something that the North Node Taurus period of time has been teaching us anyway. It's been teaching us a lot, but I think that's also part of it. And I've gotten rid of so much stuff since living here. I didn't even come with a lot of stuff, but it's like I moved in with somebody, right? So it's like there was that whole thing. But yeah, it's like every 3 to 4 months, I'm getting rid of more and more and more. And I'm getting it down to such a small amount where I'm like, I feel like I'm almost down to the amount of stuff that I feel comfortable having in my possession. But like, yeah, I want almost nothing excessive. And most of my stuff that I do own, like half of it is like they're spiritual items. They're like my divination tools, like stuff for my altar. You know, it's like that's most of the items that I own. Like I have very little clothes compared to like the average person. I have very few kitchen items compared to the average person. What else is in my house besides my spiritual stuff? I mean cat stuff, but that's for Clyde. He needs his things. He's his own being. I mean, bathroom stuff doesn't count. I also have very minimal bathroom stuff. Yeah, it's like I have very little things in my home, and it just like every time I get rid of more, it just feels that much better. But yeah, it's just an interesting phenomenon, right? I used to be so sentimental with my kids' stuff and exes. LOL, no more. Oh god, especially the exes stuff. Oh god, and I get it. I'm a Scorpio, right? So as I started having like romantic relationships, yeah, I'd hold on to shit. I'd like do the whole box thing. I'd make a box, put all their stuff in a box, and I'd just keep it in the closet. Why? Why was I doing that? Um, yeah, I don't hold on to anything from my exes if I can help it. Do I have anything on my exes? I burn exes stuff. God. uh, let's see. Keeping the books and the spiritual stuff. Yeah, like, right? It's like that's the stuff where I'm like, but I use those things all the time. So it's like if I'm using things, I'm keeping them because I obviously have a purpose for them, right? Um, guilty. Yeah, even when I moved here and I was like packing my boxes, I was like, how could I have most of my boxes just be like cards and crystals and incense and again stuff I use on the daily, but it's just like, wow, that's also kind of amazing. So that's also why I've been trying to like dwindle down that stuff as much as I can. Like for a while I was doing giveaways on Patreon, which I think I'm gonna go start again for my patrons who are watching. I'll talk about it later during the full moon live. But yeah, I got my decks down to a good size, but I want to get them down even more. And there's definitely some books that I'd love to give away too. There's definitely crystals I'd like to give away. Yeah, because I think like at one point throughout my entire like YouTube journey anyway, I think I had probably over 60 decks. An insane amount. That's an insane amount. And then I lost some in the move, and I actually lost a couple of my favorites, and I was kind of devastated for a bit, amongst other important things. And I was like, I was so sad. I was so sad. But then, you get over it because it's just things. But then I started giving them away. And so now I'm probably down to like, well, how many do I have right here? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I probably have 20 right here. And I think I probably have like 5, 7 in the back. Maybe I have more decks than I realize. I'm like, wait a second, this is adding up to a higher number than I thought it would. Yeah, I can stand to get rid of some more decks. Is there an online place we can see where to donate items in our area? I would just Google that. Every state is so different. Every state is so different with stuff like that. I would just literally start Googling and see what you come up with. I have bits of string, pens, or whatever box from 5 years old. Girl, open that box. Open that box and clean out that box. Just say it. Local thrift stores. I want to donate somewhere low income though. If you're donating clothes, I would donate to a shelter first, like a women's shelter. When I lived in LA, that's what I would do. Oh, excuse me. Like, I wouldn't recommend making Goodwill your first choice. There's a lot of reasons why. The primary reason I would say to not donate to like Goodwill or Salvation Army first is because they get so much inventory that they can't turn it over fast enough. So if certain things don't sell within like a month or 2 time, it goes to landfill. If they can't do anything else with it, it goes to landfill. Like, they put a lot of shit in landfill. So I would recommend like shelters first. If you have like food, like canned food or whatever, it's like, food, what's the word? Kitchens. Words are so hard for me lately. It can be really small though. You can find a small place. Yeah, it's like I would just Google because there are places that take things. Or if you have books, it's like some schools like to take books. Books have been a whole thing trying to get rid of. Like I've tried donating to libraries and it's like sometimes they get so full they're like, we don't need any more books, and it's like, oh, okay. Soup kitchen, thank you. Yeah, I'm like, there's a word. And again, every state has their own stuff, and if you're also in a different country, your country probably has different things. Pantries, yes, thank you. That's another one. It feels great to toss that stuff, I swear. Yeah. Food banks, yes. Facebook Marketplace free. Yeah. See, it's like there are things and there are ways. So yeah, just Google. Just Google and see what comes up. Excuse me. Send your books to youth centers. Yeah. Yeah. The books I have right now, they might not want them at youth centers. All the books I have now, they're all spiritual, esoteric, occult books, like all of them. And even then, it's like when I'm like, okay, I should get rid of some books. I'm like, oh, but I looked at that one the other day, but I had to reference that one a couple weeks ago, and I'm just like having trouble. Um, some organizations collect books and send them by container to Africa. Go hit the like button, everybody. Oh, thank you, Amber, for saying that. Hey, Shay, hi, hello. But yeah, and there is a huge problem too with just having excess trash and shit like that. Like that's an issue. That's a serious issue. That's a whole other video. We could talk for hours about that issue. Um, yeah, I'm already like trying like not I'm already trying to like withdraw from that. Do you think seeing certain numbers repeatedly means something, or is it just made up? Oh no, I do think it means something. So when you see repeated numbers, first of all, even if you don't know if there's a specific message behind it, it's just spirit going, hey. It's just your guides, angels, your spirit team going like, hello. We're with you. Don't forget. Don't forget we're with you, and don't forget that you are connected and you are a divine being. Don't forget. Don't forget. Don't forget. If you feel like you can't like hit on like a deeper message behind it, because there are times when like I'm seeing like synchronistic numbers constantly, but they're all different numbers. And when it's like that, I'm like, okay, they're just trying to remind me that they're there. But if I see a very specific number, like nonstop, like lately for me, it's been 1044, 144, 444. Those have been really huge for me. 1144. It's like, okay, they're trying to tell me something very specific. Yeah, sevens recently. Sevens have been huge in the collective too. I've been noticing that a lot with other people I've been speaking to, that a lot of people have been seeing 777, 717, 747. Sevens are a really divine number. To me, I look at seven as um, follow the divine path, follow divine guidance, follow, listen. That's what I think of when I think of sevens. Um, 444 has been my number. Yeah, fours have been huge. Yeah, four is stability. Four is stability, and also being able to manage your own stability, right? Having responsibility over your stability. Uh, since December, I've been seeing 222 and 2121. Yeah, so it's like, even if you don't want to get caught up in the exact numbers or like message behind the exact numbers, just know that it's spirit going, hey, hello. You know what I mean? It's like, this is the other thing too. It's like, it's really easy to get attached to certain things in the spiritual community or attached to certain messaging. And sometimes I feel like that can pull us out of the physical reality too much. Like sometimes I feel like it could almost put us in a place of like not being grounded in the present. So if you feel like you're getting to that point, I'm not saying you need to do this, but if you feel like you're having trouble just being grounded in the present in a very practical way, like you're almost having trouble being on top of your shit and being too much in the spiritual realms, because that's a thing. Because that's an extreme way of living, right? That is an imbalanced way of living. Then just recognize it for the broader message that it is. It's just a hello, right? Um, yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing. I don't think people speak on this very much either in the spiritual community. People talk a lot about being way too much in the matrix or way too much in the physical reality, but people also don't talk about what happens when you're the other way, when you're like almost solely in spirit and you're not here in the physical and you're not present, right? Almost like you're kind of like you're just up in the ether all the time. That's also a really imbalanced way of living. It means that you're not grounding. You're not grounding your truth. You're not being grounded and present here. And we are here for a reason. We're here to have a physical experience. Spiritual psychosis. Sure, that could be a result. That could totally be a result. Flying too close to the sun is another way to put it. And there have definitely been times where like I have flown too close to the sun and it's like, ooh, maybe time to come back down a little bit. And it's not a judgment. We all have to balance ourselves. Again, taking accountability for that. It's like bubblegum. Chew on it, but don't keep it in your mouth without the flavor. Yeah. When you're like out of it rather than living. Yeah. Yes. Balance spirituality and practicality. Yes. Be in the world, but not of it. Right? Yeah. Having that balance. I would love to learn about being in that space. I feel like I'm coming out of that state and need more help getting grounded. There's all kinds of ways to get grounded like that, because people ask me that a lot actually, on how to just be more grounded, be more present. And I think different things work for different people. You know, I can only tell you what's worked for me from my own life experience, and what's worked for me is physical exercise helps a lot. Doing breath work helps a lot. You know, doing dancing, things that get me in the body, right? That get me focused on my physical vessel help me a lot. Practicing gratitude is also a huge thing too, because when you practice gratitude, if you're like always up here, or you are, you know, always looking towards the future, for example, it just immediately brings you back to present when you focus on the things to be grateful for in your reality around you right now. But doing things that really get you in the body, in your lower chakras, is number one, at least from my personal experience. Um, yes, grounding and balancing has been a big lesson for me the past year. Yeah, grounding's huge. Grounding is so huge. I feel like that became part of my awareness and my journey. Like, was it when I moved here? Or when I was in Sedona? I feel like definitely by the time I moved here, and maybe even a little bit before then, I became aware of how important it was to just literally be in your lower chakras. You know? Um, yeah, it's great to be up here. It's great. Nothing wrong with it. It feels good. But we live in our lowers. Like, we live from our lowers. We create from our lower chakras. We are presently here through our lower chakras. Um, and they're important. They're really important. I feel like I'm all over the place, honestly. That's okay. We're also in that kind of a space. It's like, I feel like every morning I have to put a little bit more effort into recalibrating myself. And I don't know if that's because of all the Uranus activity, the Aquarius activity, but it's definitely got that vibe. It's definitely got that vibe. And clearly the message that came out today, right? Five of Swords, that is a lot of mental energy. That's like mental energy, that's fear, that's ego. That will get us scattered real quick, right? And if you are in this space, or you get in this space and you have trouble getting out of it, getting in the body is also a quick way to deal with that. Because this is mental. This energy is up here. This energy is up here. It's illusion. But if you get in the body, you can move out of that. You can move out of that pretty quick. I've been seeing spirit animals in real time too. Exercise mornings are my best days of the week. I'll tell y'all. No, it's true. It's true. It's like physical activity and exercise. I mean, it's amazing for so many different reasons, but yeah, it's like we are multifaceted beings, and the physical part, our bodies are also a huge part of having that balance. The Hawk's been active. Aquarius energy keeps you partially outside the body, going for walks. Thank you for the reading, Rodin. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Actually, I should probably skedaddle. Hold on. Let me check what time it is. Oh. Doing time management math right now. Oh, all of a sudden my third eye started hurting. Anyway, this is something I can do off camera. Trying to organize my own shit. All right, guys, I'm gonna bounce. It was cool to hang out with you guys today. And like I said, if you're gonna catch the full moon live on Patreon, that's gonna be happening 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern today. And I posted to Vimeo too after the fact if you don't want to be a patron. But yeah, I'm gonna bounce. Take care, guys. Bye.